morning. My name is Toni Zollicoffer, and I want to first thank you for inviting me here to talk with you a little bit about self-care and vicarious trauma for healers. I want to first start by saying, if you weren't planning on being in a conference or a presentation on self-care, now is the opportunity for you to get up and leave. However, be mindful that if you get up now and leave, folks will think you're not interested in taking good care of yourself. So I put you on the spot a bit, and hopefully you'll just sit and bear it, and at the end of this time together, you'll get something out of it. So let's talk a little bit about what our learning objectives are going to be for today. We're going to talk about self-care, why that's important. We will define a few concepts like burnout, secondary traumatic stress, compassion fatigue, and vicarious trauma. We will discuss the symptoms that often impact helpers. We will discuss a self-care plan and coping strategies. And then by the end of our time together, I hope that you will commit to a self-care plan or the beginnings of a self-care plan. We will also have time at the end for questions and answers. So, a little bit about me and how I got to this place where having presentations and talking about self-care became important. This happened about 10 years ago, and I was working at the House of Ruth Maryland's outreach clinic in Prince George's County, Maryland. It was a domestic violence outreach center for survivors of domestic violence and their children, and we were doing amazing work there. We were touching and healing many, many people, and the work was rewarding, it was hard, but it was important work. And I didn't really realize how the impact of hearing those stories had been for me until one Saturday morning, my friend, a very, very good friend of mine, came and she asked if I could meet a new boyfriend. And she was really excited about this boyfriend, and she wanted my blessing, my approval. And so we decided to have brunch. A glorious day. We walk into the restaurant together, and I'm tense, and I'm feeling some tension in my body. And I'm not quite sure of why I have that tension, but I do. And he sits down, and I start to pepper him with questions. And these questions are very personal, very uncomfortable for him. And so after a few moments, he makes some excuse about leaving something at the office, and he dashes. And I'm sitting there, and I'm left with my girlfriend. And she's looking at me, and there's this silence. And you could tell she's stewing, and she's very, very angry with me. And she looks at me, and she says, "Who are you talking about? What just happened there?" And she said, "Are you talking about me? Or are you talking about one of your clients?" And tears started to roll down my face. And I looked at her and I said, "I'm not talking about just one of my clients. I'm talking about all of my clients." And that's the moment that it hit me, that I had become a container for all of these horrific stories. But I didn't have a way of dumping the container so that I could refill it. And that, for me, was that turning point to start to learn how to take care of myself, to start to learn how to be a container for the folks that entrusted me with their stories, but also that I needed to be able to take care of myself in order to be there for the long haul. And then I made a decision, a conscious decision, to learn how to balance being that vessel for the stories, and then learning how to take care of myself so that I could get up the next day and do the work and do it well. And so that's the story that brought me to this place where I want to maybe share with you some strategies to help you with self-care.